Mega Man 2, the best-selling game in the extensive Mega Man franchise, was almost never made. The first game sold a fair amount of copies, but not enough to make the executives at Capcom interested in developing a sequel. The original Mega Man plays great for an NES title released all the way back in 1987, but it was notoriously difficult, and it had box art that looked like this. Director Akira Kitamura, the designer that created the original pixel art sprite of Mega Man, and artist Keiji Inafune, who had drawn many of the original enemy designs, both wanted to make the sequel. They had many ideas left over from the first game that they just couldn't fit on a small 32 kilobyte Nintendo cartridge. With increased memory on newer cartridges, they knew they could make something much better. Capcom's top executives heard Kitamura and Inafune's idea, and they ultimately agreed that they could make the game, but with one condition. The team members had to still complete their other games on schedule. They'd have to work on Mega Man 2 after hours on their own time. In an interview for Play magazine in 2004, Keiji Inafune recounted his experience with the game. He said, "We worked really hard, just 20-hour days to complete this because we were making something we wanted to make." You can really feel that passion the developers had when playing the final game. To build up excitement for the game's release in Japan, the team had a crazy idea. They'd hold a contest promoted in Family Computer magazine and let the fans design the new Robot Master bosses. The contest received a staggering 8,370 entries, out of which they had to choose a final 8 bosses. In addition to having to work on other games at the same time, Capcom put Mega Man 2 on a strict deadline. The entire game had to be completed in only 4 months. With such little time to complete the project, the designers couldn't just wait for the contest to finish before getting started. Instead, they got to work on 8 themed levels, and they picked bosses from the contest that best suited the stages they had already created. The story for the game is a simple tale of revenge. In the original, series antagonist Dr. Wily had stolen 6 robots designed by Mega Man's creator, Dr. Light. In Mega Man 2, Dr. Wily has made 8 of his own Robot Masters, each one designed to kill Mega Man. The game was extremely popular in Japan, and when Capcom released it in North America and Europe, they added a new feature: a second, easier difficulty mode. While many players felt the first game was just too hard, the addition of scalable difficulty both makes Mega Man 2 more accessible and increases the replay value. The difficult mode is the original Japanese release. Normal difficulty makes Mega Man's weapons more powerful, and it seems like the enemies drop items more frequently. Unfortunately, the other Mega Man games on the NES didn't include this feature. Mega Man 2 introduces a lot of ideas that would become series staples. 8 bosses would become the standard, while the first game only had 6. There are 3 platforming-related items this time, which would become the rush upgrades in later games. This would also be the first appearance of health refilling energy tanks, and the teleporter room at the end of the game. All of these improvements certainly led to a better game, and it didn't hurt that it was featured on the cover of the 7th issue of Nintendo Power, and got 10 pages of coverage inside. Capcom still didn't nail the box art though. Artist Mark Erickson admits that he was unfamiliar with Mega Man, and thought that he used a pistol. Even with that box art, Mega Man 2 went on to sell over 1.5 million copies, making it the 41st best-selling NES game of all time. Critics praised its detailed graphics, intense gameplay, and pulse-thumping soundtrack. When IGN released their list of the top 100 NES games, They rated Mega Man 2 as number 4. On crowdsourced rating site Ranker.com, Mega Man 2 is listed as the number 5 best NES game. I tend to agree. It definitely belongs in the top 10. Mega Man 2 can be found on many modern platforms. It's included on the NES Classic Mini, and can be found on the Mega Man Legacy Collection, available for the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, Steam, and the 3DS. Even with the normal difficulty option, modern gamers will still have to deal with all of the challenges the NES is notorious for. Enemies knock you back when you get hit. There's disappearing blocks over instant death lava. Fake floor traps over instant death spikes. Small auto-scrolling platforms over an instant death pit. Underwater zones with wonky jump physics lined with instant death mines. And of course, the infamous instant death laser beams. But what if I told you how to get tons of hidden energy tanks and extra lives so you'll never get a game over? What if I told you ways we can use Mega Man's new arsenal of weapons and items to easily overcome the game's most difficult challenges? And what if I told you easy ways to defeat every boss, even the guardians of Dr. Wily's Skull Castle? On today's episode of You Can Beat Video Games, we'll learn all of that and more. If you're new to the channel, we're doing deep dives on retro video games and giving you the professional strategies that can be used by the casual gamer. Make sure to subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss any new videos. Let's get started. Alright, Mega Man 2. We're going to choose the normal difficulty mode, and we are going to select Flashman as our first boss. Flashman is one of the easier robot masters to fight, so it'll be easy for us to defeat him with our standard arm cannon weapon. And he also has one of the better attacks that you can gain in the game, the Time Stopper. You'll also get platform number 3, which is another useful item for completing this level. Make your way to the right here. These enemies are called Crazy Cannons. And notice that the floor here is a little bit slippery. You'll want to attack that cannon from the left side of the wall. You can shoot through walls in this game, generally. And here you need to make sure you jump and start shooting. You'll remember this guy, he's Sniper Joe from the first game, but now he has a mech suit. Here we want to go down this hole. When we go down the next shaft, we want to hold to the right so that we can land inside here. If you need some weapon refills, there are some up there, but we don't have any special weapons just yet. Hold to the left as you drop down here. There's some extra energy for you down there, but you'll have to fight that mech suit Sniper Joe. This is a very tricky series of platforms. If you can make it to the end, you just want to kind of maintain your momentum and jump off the edge of each platform. You can get an energy tank, but it's not mandatory in any way, and we'll find plenty of energy tanks on our run here. Take out this Sniper Joe. You can just jump over him once he's been defeated. The Sniper Joes in this game don't jump. And we are on to our first boss, the King of Indecent Exposure, Flashman. Flashman always starts out by running across the room over to the left corner. Use that information to your advantage and try to shoot him as much as you can as he runs across. If he freezes time with his Time Stopper, you'll probably take a little bit of damage, but on normal mode, he is very, very easy to defeat. Now on difficult, you may need to use that energy tank that we picked up. It's a lot harder. In any case, whenever you beat Flashman, you will get the Time Stopper, and when I used to play this game as a kid, I didn't think the Time Stopper was very useful. It has a couple mainstream uses, like in Quickman's stage to get around the laser beams, and you can use it as a weapon against Quickman himself, which is where we're going next. But there are a lot more uses of the time stopper that I never knew, and we are certainly going to get our money's worth from that item on this run. We're going to hit stage select, and the next boss that we're going to choose is the Sultan of Swift himself, Quickman. We can use our newly acquired item number 3 to climb up the wall on the left here and get ourselves an extra life. So just hit it, jump on there. If you jump when you're using item number 3, it'll cause it to change directions, so don't jump off of it until you're ready to make the jump to the next platform. These enemies can't be killed, so just head down. And in the next room, we're going to experience the laser beams, so hold hard to the left and get through this room as quickly as possible. Hold to the right here. Don't worry about hitting this guy. He'll give you some invincibility frames so that if you were to get hit by one of those beams, you wouldn't die. Those beams are instant death. Down here, we'll encounter some hothead enemies. These guys will try to throw fireballs at you, and whenever they're destroyed, the room will go dark. So if it seems like you're just walking to nowhere, you may need to jump while holding right to move forward. Up here, we're going to come to the more difficult laser beam section, so I'm going to equip my time stopper. Try not to use it on the first screen here though. Jump over that little platform and come down on the right, but do use it here. So, time is frozen, the beams can't get us, but we still need to move fast. We can pick up some extra energy for our time stopper right there, and hold to the right as you move into this room, and then back to the left. Try to avoid this energy and the extra life. You don't need them that badly, and they will slow you down. Get through this room, and looks like my time stopper's about to run out, so don't get caught by that last laser beam as you enter the final room of Quickman stage. Here's another Sniper Joe. Now he dropped a refill for our weapon, so I'm going to refill my time stopper. We can actually use that as a weapon against Quickman. There's going to be another mechanized Sniper Joe here, so take him out. Wait for him to shoot. I want to try to get that energy, so I'm going to just try to get in there. Looks like it was a bit of a wash. And over here is the gate that will lead us on to the boss. I'm going to equip the time stopper so I can use the small amount of energy that I still have on it to deal some damage to Quickman. And the first thing that he does when he starts his attack pattern is to either jump up into the air or run straight across the room. Either way, he usually ends up on the left side somewhere, so that's where you're going to want to start fighting him. He can be kind of tough if you don't have the time stopper at all, so don't be afraid to use one of your energy tanks to refill your health partway through the battle. Also, whenever you fight Quickman later in the game in Dr. Wily's stage, the time stopper actually will only do about 50% of his health damage, even if we had full power on it. So we will need to finish off the other half of his health with something else. We can use our air shooter or our crash bombs when we fight him the second time. And with that, we're off to Airman stage. Now I said there were some other uses for the time stopper. Wait till you see this one. So as soon as this air tiki appears, hit your time stopper, and normally some horns would come out of the side of it. Well, it's going to stop the horns from coming out, but the air tikis still appear for you, so you can easily get past those first platforms. There will be some more air tikis later in the stage, so if you find those ones to be more difficult, you may want to save the time stopper for them. Here we'll fight some lightning lords, and we're going to use our quick boomerangs on them. So that's the new weapon that we just acquired from Quickman. Here comes the third one. Just start lighting them up here and quickly jump over to the platform. This one's sneaky. He goes behind the clouds, so shoot him to the left and then just walk off your platform to the left. You'll land on his. Shoot this one to the right, and then up here there's going to be a bird that attacks us. We want to try to hit the egg before it hits the ground, or it will explode into a bunch of chicks. Interestingly, the instruction manual for the North American release refers to that bird enemy as a flying fish. Yeah, I can't imagine that is correct. This enemy we used to not be able to damage, but with our quick boomerangs, now we can take them out. Make your way down on the left side where you'll fall through the floor. And this is the second half of Airman stage. This is where those other air tikis are. We don't have any more of the time stopper, but if you did, this would be another good place where you could use it to easily get past these first two air tikis. But you want to make sure you jump from the first one to the second one right after the horns retract. Over here, there's going to be some enemies called fan fiends. And we can actually despawn them sometimes. So I'll show you what I mean. When the next one appears on the screen, we can just take a little step backwards. Here he is here. A little step backwards and then move forward and he's gone. We didn't have to deal with him at all. So use your quick man to easily beat these birds. And we can despawn this fan fiend as well. Jump down to the platform, watch out for the bird, and carefully make your way across. And here he is, the big blue blowhard himself, Airman. Airman's actual weakness is Woodman's Leaf Shield, but we don't have it, and it's actually kind of hard to hit him with it because it often gets reflected off by these tornadoes that he shoots, while our arm cannon shots might actually go under the tornadoes. In any case, after he does 3 of those tornado patterns, he'll start jumping across the room towards you, which will give you plenty of opportunities to light him up with your arm cannon. And with that, we will get the air shooter, which is kind of a medium usefulness weapon. It has an upward trajectory. We won't be using it very often, but it is important to defeat a couple of the bosses. We also, though, get item number 2. Item number 2 is the jet sled, and it's sort of like the rush jet for this game. It is a very useful item that we will be using in several mandatory locations, but also in several optional ones too. So with that, we're going to do a stage select and choose Metal Man. At the very beginning of Metal Man stage, we will have the opportunity to get an energy tank, and a very easy to get energy tank at that. Just kind of do some hops down here, which will make you able to get over those conveyor belts. Now we're going to have a good use of our time stopper again. The time stopper actually freezes the conveyor belts on the ground, and also freezes those crushers up on the top, so that you can easily get through that area. These enemies, which look like little chainsaws, are actually very annoying on difficult mode, but they don't take a lot of damage to kill here on normal. If you're running low on health or weapons, you can very easily farm these enemies to get a lot of items. And once you get to about this point, you can do some jumps to get over, and we're going to use that item number 2 for the first time, right here at the top. So use it here, and then jump over, and we'll be able to get ourselves an extra life. Make your way down to the bottom, and jump down the shaft on the right. Slide over this conveyor belt, and down here in the bottom, we are going to encounter some new enemies that are referred to as gear monkeys. The gear monkeys can be taken out by destroying the gear underneath them, which will cause them to fall off the screen. You can kill the gear monkey himself too, but the gear will still remain and be able to hurt you. Come here, take out the gear, and make your way across. This stack of barrels enemy in difficult mode will actually explode and kind of throw the pieces of itself forward, but it doesn't do that in normal, so you don't have to worry about it. Kind of hold left as you drop down here, and you should be able to grab this energy tank, but make sure to use platform 2 to get out of there. It's very difficult to make that jump without it, and you could easily lose a life there. And you wouldn't want to do that because right up here is the end of the stage, where we will meet the boss. Make your way into the gate. It's nice of Metal Man to wear a mask so that we don't get coronavirus from him, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to eliminate him quickly with the quick boomerangs. Try to stay on the left side of the screen. So think about if you divided the screen in half. If you stay on the left, Metal Man will not jump over to your side and will just kind of keep bouncing up and down on the right. He will be very, very easy to defeat. So just try to stay on the left. Be careful because the conveyor belt at the bottom will change directions. We will be able to grab his weapon and move on to Bubble Man stage. At the beginning of Bubble Man stage, we will encounter some frog enemies called croakers. I've noticed that the quick boomerangs are very effective against them because the baby frogs that they spit out are too small to be hit directly with your arm cannon, but the quick boomerang has a trajectory that has like an oval shape, so you'll be able to hit them with that. These platforms will fall out from under you if you jump on them, so we're just going to use our jet sled number 2 to float over that area. Now we're going to equip our new metal blade weapon, and the metal blades are awesome. They can attack in 8 different directions, so you can attack these crab bots from above. Head down here, and now we're into the water. Being in the water changes our jump physics, so now we can jump very high. Be careful with that because the ceiling is going to be lined with instant death mines. There they are, there's those black asterisk looking things. Use a light tap jump when you jump here and try to get the feel for it in the area over to the left. You can easily take out this lanternfish with your metal blade, so just kind of elevate a little bit and shoot them downward at an angle. Be careful of these jellyfish. You want to just lightly drop off the sides of these platforms. Make very subtle and small moves and light tap jumps. You do not want to touch any of those mines, and you'll notice that you move a lot differently in the water. That part's tricky too, where you need to jump between those mines. So make sure to get a little bit of elevation there so that you can control the jump. Take out another lanternfish with your blades and make your way over to the right. Be careful not to jump too hard there so that you hit the mines as you move through. And we'll have some more of these croaker enemies, which we can easily take out with our metal blades using the upward angle. Just keep heading over to the right. These guys are called snappers, and I'm using the air shooter here because they come out of the sky, so the upward trajectory of the air shooter is actually very convenient here. Of course, you don't need to use the air shooter there, but it's kind of a good use for it. And here we are, Bubble Man. Bubble Man is actually very easy. His room has those mines on the ceiling, so we're actually better off just not jumping at all. Just shoot him with your metal blades. He likes to swim towards you at an upward angle, so I shoot the blades forward and then up and to the right, and then whenever he is right above me, I can just shoot them straight up and finish him off. Very, very easy. If you start jumping around in Bubble Man's room, you'll have a chance of jumping too hard and hitting those mines, so we want to avoid that. Just stay on the ground, stay put in the left corner, and just light them up with your metal blades. Now that we have Bubble Man's bubble lead, it's time to take on Heat Man. Enemies are going to be attacking us from every angle here in Heat Man stage, so we're going to need to equip our metal blades. Make your way across, watching out for these prop tops and these trash can looking monsters that spawn at the holes in the wall. So pay attention to where they can spawn from, take them out with the metal blades, and quickly move forward before another one spawns. Be careful there, take that one out. And at the end, the lava is gone, but that pit below you is still instant death. You'll want to switch over to the quick boomerangs, or the bubble lead would also work, when you're fighting these spring enemies. They cannot be defeated with your standard arm cannon. Make your way to the bottom of this ladder. There's another spring guy down there, so shoot him. And we don't have to deal with these yoku blocks here. We can just use our item number 3 to climb up the wall on the left. So climb up that wall, drop down the ladder, and this is the second part of Heat Man stage. This part is similar to the first, but it's a little bit more intense with these yoku blocks. Jump on this one and then quickly jump again to hit the second one. If you mess it up and you don't catch it, you'll have an opportunity to jump on it again. Wait for that block and jump on it, and then over here we're going to do the same thing that we did before, just kind of hop a couple times and hopefully catch that second block. Wait for this one to appear and quickly jump on it and then jump over. Over here, there's going to be just a whole lot of those disappearing yoku blocks. So we're going to avoid them entirely by using our platform number 2. So go ahead, use the platform number 2. Don't even worry about the extra life that you see here. You essentially get like infinite lives in this game. You can continue as much as you need to. Make your way down this ladder. We can use our quick boomerangs to very quickly take out this mechanical sniper Joe. They go through them like a knife goes through butter. And that's all we have to do. We're going to fight the living Zippo lighter himself, Heat Man. Equip your bubble lead, and as soon as the fight starts here, we want to jump forward and to the right to avoid the fire attack that he does right at the beginning. Hit him with a bubble lead, he'll do a little flaming shield and then charge towards you. You'll want to jump over him, turn around and hit him with a second bubble, then get ready to jump again and hit him with a third bubble. It only takes 3 bubble leads to take him out. Once he's defeated, we will get equipped with the atomic fire. The atomic fire is kind of a fun weapon to use. You can charge it up like the Mega Buster in the later games. The problem with it though is it uses a lot of energy, so we won't be using it very much outside of boss battles. We also get item 1 here, which is a very useful item. It makes little platforms that float upwards, sort of like our item 3, but it doesn't have to be attached to a wall. And with that, there's only 2 bosses left, so we're going to select Woodman. As we get started here in Woodman stage, I want to show you a trick that we can do with our metal blades. If you shoot out 3 or fewer metal blades and then pause the game bringing up the menu, you won't deplete any of the weapon energy. So as long as you pause before you shoot off the 4th metal blade, you can use those blades forever without draining the energy at all. You can actually do this with the quick boomerangs as well. You can actually have more of those on the screen without depleting the energy, 7 of them. And you can also do it with the bubble lead, but you can only put 1 bubble lead on the screen before you have to pause, so you'd have to pause after every shot to use it infinitely. Stay on this upper platform and shoot these bubble-o bats with your metal blades. And then we're going to switch over to our atomic fire weapon. Charge it up before we go down to the bottom. There's going to be a large enemy down here, which this guy's called a friender in the Japanese version, but in the American version they're called a hot dog. And here's a good trick. If we use our time stopper, there's supposed to be a second and a third hot dog that we have to fight down here, but as long as you make it to the end of this room, you don't have to worry about them at all as long as the time stopper is going. Switch back to your metal blades and climb up the ladder. This is the second half of Woodman's stage. Alright, extra life. Jump on this ladder and head on up. At the top here, we're going to fight some mecha monkeys. Use your metal blades, they appear below us on the bamboo platforms, and just shoot them down and at an angle. There's also the birds with the eggs again. If you turn to the left before the bird appears on the screen, it'll get summoned from the left side instead of the right. Then the bird will kind of fly along with us as we move to the right, and it won't keep spawning. Down here, there's going to be some robo-rabbits. You'll want to switch over to your bubble lead and take them out with 2 shots. In the next room, we can use the bubble lead again. Be careful to jump over the carrot that it shoots, but you'll see that the bubble lead is actually very effective when the enemies are located on platforms below you. Don't just jump down this ladder. We're going to kind of walk down to the bottom of it, shoot off item 2, climb up a little bit, and jump on top of it. That'll allow us to avoid all of these atomic chickens. And here we are, Dr. Wily's alternative to Viagra, Woodman. Once the fight actually starts, start charging up your atomic fire. It doesn't work to charge it before you enter the room. And as soon as you hit maximum power, let him have it. It'll only take one shot to kill him. Now, there is a second strategy that you might want to try. The air shooter is also a very good weapon against Woodman, and it doesn't require any charging. So jump over his leaf shield and just hit him a couple times, and it will take him right out. This air shooter strategy is particularly useful if you decide to play on difficult mode. I like to charge up the atomic fire, hit him one time with that for maximum damage, and then quickly switch to the air shooter to deal the rest of the damage on Woodman whenever I face him in the difficult mode. And the final boss here is Crashman. If you hold down the A and B buttons whenever you choose a Robot Master, you'll get these little chickens in the background instead of stars. It's not a very useful trick, but it is a fun one. We can use our leaf shield now to deal with these annoying respawning trash can enemies. Whenever you're on the ladder, you can just activate the leaf shield to take out the enemies. As soon as you try to move though, you will shoot the leaf shield off in whatever direction you press, so be mindful of that. Watch out for these hard hat enemies. They are kind of the evolution of the Met enemies from the original game. We can use our leaf shield here, just jump onto the platform, stand on it, and activate the leaf shield without moving. And when you get close to the ladder, just hold up to climb up it. Over here we can do the same thing. Don't worry about the trash can guys. Just leave on the leaf shield until you get close enough to the ladder to grab it. There we go. This one can kind of take a long time, so I'm going to try to use my metal blades to clear out a couple of these guys, and then just use item 1 to float up to the top and grab the ladder, so we can just kind of bypass the platform there. We're going to switch back to the arm cannon, and I'm just going to shoot this stack of barrels right in the eyeballs, and move forward up the ladder. That's actually the checkpoint for the stage, so if you were to die, that's where you'd come back to. Head on up here. There's going to be a hard hat enemy here. This guy is a little bit dangerous. The knockback can make you fall downwards, but you won't die. You'll just go down a couple screens and you'll have to climb the ladder again. What you want to do is let him shoot at you, jump the shot, and then take him out. Same thing with this guy. Shoot him whenever he lifts up his hat. And I'm going to switch to the blades. There's going to be some more of those annoying bird enemies that drop the eggs up here, and they can make climbing the ladder difficult because you fall off for a second whenever you get hit. You can also use your leaf shield here. We need to switch over to the right ladder, and remember that you need to stop moving for a moment whenever the small baby birds are attacking, so that you can activate your leaf shield and just let them all get killed by it. Climb on up the ladder, and keep going all the way to the top. Don't have to worry about that crazy cannon over there because we're not on that side. There is an energy tank, so if we just drop down there and grab it, we can use our platform number 1 to float up to the far ladder, where we'll also be able to get an extra life. Be careful of this prop top though. I'm going to hit him with the metal blades before we get to the top of the ladder. Just make your way across, metal blade any of these guys that get in your way. And we've made it to the lair of the Robot Master that always wears his safety belt, Crashman. Crashman is probably one of the most difficult bosses in the game if you don't have the air shooter. With it though, it just makes short work of this guy. There's not even much strategy to it. He kind of jumps at you and just let him have it with this thing. A couple blasts from the air shooter will take him right out, and we will get the crash bombs. Interestingly, in the Japanese version of the game, the boss is called Clashman, And in later games like the Game Boy version, they also called him Clash Man, so I'm not sure why they changed it. They didn't change any of the other boss names for the North American or European versions. Well, we did it. We cleared all 8 bosses, and now it's time to infiltrate Dr. Wily's hideout, Skull Castle. Mega Man's true test begins here. Now that we have all the weapons, it's time to put them to use. We can use our leaf shield as we begin the stage to take out these bird enemies, sort of like what we did over in Crash Man's stage, except now we're not climbing up ladders, we're just kind of standing in one spot, letting all the birds dissipate, and then moving forward. And don't worry too much if you get hit or if you use a lot of weapon energy. The baby birds almost always will drop a ton of items for you to recharge. Now, as we make our way here to the right, we're going to come to a wall. I like to use platform 3 to climb this wall, but you can actually use any of the platforms to get over that. Even item number 2 can work if you use it in just the right spot. You can use your quick boomerangs or also the metal blades to take out these enemies. Sometimes the metal blades are better here because of the places where they are positioned. Keep going to the right and you'll come to another wall. I'm going to use platform 3 again, but remember you can use any of the platforms. I think we should conserve our platform number 1 though, because we're going to need it in a section coming up very soon. There is an invisible hole in the floor that makes that extra life hard to get over there, so I'm not going to mess around with it right now. If you feel like you need an extra life, just remember that you may have to climb back up that wall and use your item 3 again. I'm going to refill my item 3 here, but you may not want to do that and just leave that there in case you mess up and need to recharge your item number 1, which is going to be critical to clear a big gap coming up. Staying down at the bottom and shooting at an angle is a good way to deal with that Sniper Joe. And up here we can use our bubble lead or quick boomerangs to take out this spring enemy. The bubble lead doesn't have a lot of use outside of this, so I'm going to use it where I can. Climb up this ladder. This part here is very tricky. Try to get to the very edge of the ladder, shoot one of these out, and then shoot the next one from the far edge of the second platform. You want to try to spread these platforms out as wide as you can to make sure you can get over that gap, but you can't hesitate very long either, or they will float up too high and you won't be able to get the third one off. I'm going to switch to the quick boomerangs here. We're about to fight the boss, and the boomerangs are the weapon we're going to need to use. This part is pretty tricky. It starts auto-scrolling suddenly here, and you need to jump forward just as the block appears on the screen, or else the dragon will catch you from behind. Now, once you get to the actual boss, climb up to the top and start shooting it with the quick boomerangs up there. If it hits you, you'll fall off to one of the lower platforms, and you won't die. Make sure you jump right back up to the top platform again though. And that's it. We've completed the first level of Skull Castle. I think that Skull Castle Stage 2 is a bit easier than the first part. There's no little platform auto-scrolling thing with a dragon chasing you in here. If you don't have your item 2 completely filled, you may want to use some of the weapon recharges located here, but if it is full, you might want to bypass them for now, because if you were to die and start at the beginning here again, you're going to need to fill up your platform 2 to get over this spike pit. If you jump to the smaller far ladder, make sure you're holding up when you jump. You'll be able to get an energy tank and a whole bunch of extra goodies down here. You'll also get to conserve your crash bombs, which you'll need to use to get over on the top ladder. The crash bombs need to be full for the boss of the fourth part of Dr. Wily's stage, although at any time you could lose all of your lives and continue, which will recharge all of your weapons, so that is an option if you need it. Down here we can use our crash bombs to get an extra life and an energy tank. Make sure to think about when you're going to refill those crash bombs. So if you see any item recharges, make sure to prioritize having full crash bombs before you fill up some of the other items. Down in the next room here, you need to make sure you hold right a little bit so you don't end up in that spike pit, and then jump down here. There's the chainsaw enemies from Metal Man stage. We can use our leaf shield here to destroy them en masse. And a lot of times they're going to drop a bunch of items for us, which we can use to recharge anything we have that's low right now. So let's see what we have here. I'm going to fill up my platform number 2. Might need that at some point. And might as well polish off these metal blades. Switch back to it. Like to get some more health. Okay, well there you go. And whenever you're ready to exit this hallway, just make your way to the right. We're going to need to use platform number 3 to climb up the wall over here. Platform number 1 can also be used if you shoot out 2 of them, but it seems like it's just a lot easier to use number 3. Wait for this crusher to go, and head under it as it goes up. So shoot that out, go up there, and jump under the crusher. Now we can use our time stopper here, so that we can avoid this crusher and the ones coming up ahead. There's 2 right next to each other, which can be very difficult to avoid. Make your way down the ladder. Jump from this platform to the one between the spikes. Be careful you don't touch any spikes. And then we can use some of our platforms here to climb up and get that extra health, because the next room is going to be the boss. So we need to be ready for that. This is the living room. Use your metal blades and try to get underneath the creatures and shoot upwards, with the exception of the 3rd and the 10th one, which appear too low on the screen to shoot up at. You'll need to jump over those ones and shoot at them from the side. Otherwise, you'll want to pay attention to which bricks have been removed, so you know where the monsters can't come from when a new one forms. Each one gets a little bit faster, and once you have cleared 14 of them, the screen will flash, and we will be off to Skull Castle Part 3. The 3rd part of Dr. Wily's Skull Castle is a throwback to the original game. If you remember the original Mega Man, the 3rd Dr. Wily stage is an aquatic zone, and that's what we have again here. At the beginning, we'll have a chance to get an energy tank and some weapon energy, but we'll have to use our crash bombs to get them. Right now, I have full energy tanks, so I would rather not use my crash bombs, but there's going to be some weapon energy right down here, so if you'd like to get an energy tank, then by all means, get it with those bombs and then fill them up right here. I'm going to use my metal blades to take care of this crabbot. And you get some extra energy for it, very nice. Down here we're going to hit the water. Remember that you have some different jump physics, and make some big jumps across these mines. You don't want to touch them. Now wait for the fish to come out and then jump over. And there's going to be another fish over here, so do the same thing. Kind of get to the edge, wait for it to pop out, then make the jump. Be careful of the mines lining the ceiling here. You just want to kind of walk off the platform there and hold to the right a bit. And just make some slight moves here. You don't have to move very much to get around those mines. Drop down here and hold to the right so you don't hit the mines down at the bottom. Jump up out of the water. Take out this guy. And we've made it to the end. This is a very short Dr. Wily stage. I'm equipping my quick boomerangs because we're about to fight a terrible Frankenstein creation, the Guts Dozer. The tank treads won't damage you, so jump up onto this red platform, and then just keep jumping and shooting boomerangs into the gem on Gutsman's face. I can't believe Dr. Wily would do that to Gutsman. What happened to the bottom of him? Well, in any case, we're moving on to the fourth part of Skull Castle. The previous Skull Castle stage was actually pretty easy, but this one is brutal. At the very beginning, there's some extra weapon energy, so if you're trying to finish the game without continuing, make sure that you have full crash bombs, and then prioritize your other weapons and items. You may need items 1, 2, and 3 in this stage, so make sure you have a decent amount of all of those. Up here is a hard hat enemy. I've equipped my metal blades so that I can attack in all the directions as I climb the ladders. Up here, we're going to encounter our first illusion floor. We can use our bubble lead to kind of reveal where the spaces in the floor are, but you can see there it looks like you can walk on that spot, but you can't. I'm going to use item 3 to climb the wall here on the left, and then drop down on the side here to grab an extra life. Climb back up the ladder. The hard hat enemy will have respawned, so that's why I equipped my metal blades, just in case I need them. And when we get up to the top of the ladder, it looks like you can just move over to the right, but once again, there's an illusion floor. So be cautious of that. There's illusion floors all over the place in here. You may not be surprised to find out there are some up here too. So there you go, use a bubble lead to reveal where they are. It's kind of like using the holy water in Castlevania 2 to find similar spaces in the floors. Up here is the particularly deadly one. Use your bubble lead and you can see exactly which space not to step on, and jump to the ladder. Up here, we can use our item number 1 to jump through the illusion floor and get that energy tank. So this is how you get it. Use your item 1 right there, and just grab it, and then head up to the top of the ladder. And we're about halfway through the stage now. Over here, I have equipped my leaf shield because there's some more of those moving platforms on like a track, like the ones that we saw in Crashman stage. Just like in Crashman stage, the annoying trash can enemies are present, so I've just equipped my leaf shield, turned it on, and I'm just going to let it carry me around the room until I can leap off and jump to the ladder. Over here, we want to jump off the ladder as soon as the platform is right below us. And then jump back over to the left, and we can actually use our platform number 1 here instead of having to catch on to that platform. This just makes it a little bit easier. Grab the leaf shield again. Make sure not to just jump down any of these ladders, you will die. I'm going to use the leaf shield here to take out these annoying trash can enemies. Alright, and drop down to the platform, turn on the shield again. We are going to need to make a jump over here, or we'll get knocked off the platform and end up in some spikes. So jump up onto this purple platform, and head back over, re-engage the leaf shield, and then we can just ride this one over. The platform will actually just slide out from under us there, and we can move on to the next spot. Over here, we want to wait for the platform, and we'll jump onto it, and then we're going to jump to that little purple block in the middle. Jump there, and I'm going to use platform number 2 to get across. You can actually do a tricky jump from that little platform to the moving one on the track to get across that, but it's completely unnecessary. Remember that quick boomerangs work very well against the Mecha Sniper Joes. And make your way through here. We are very close to the boss here. The boss of this stage is called the Boo Beam Traps. They are more of a puzzle than a boss. It's kind of something that you have to figure out. It actually says in the manual for Game Genie that if you have infinite life, you can get stuck in this room if you mess it up. Alright, here we go. We equipped platform number 1, and I'm going to make 2 of them, so so that I can climb all the way up to the top. Now here's a good trick. Switch to your crash bombs, and then we're going to walk off and plant a bomb in the wall. And if we put it in the right spot, we can take out that boo beam and the wall in front of the one below it. If you mess it up, that's okay, as long as you take out either the wall or the boo beam trap. As long as you get one or the other, it's alright. Take out the one closest to the middle of the room, and then the far one over on the left. You can try to jump after these things shoot, especially once there aren't very many of them left. We'll need to use our platform 1 there to get up and around to the bottom, and then we can switch over to our bombs and shoot this guy. If you do that trick at the beginning, you'll still have one left over at the end, which means that you can make one mistake somewhere. If you didn't get the 2-for-1 though, that's okay. You just need to make sure that you're very careful about using all of your bombs precisely. And we did it. We made it to the skull. The classic teleporter room. You can do these bosses in any order. I'm starting with Airman here. We didn't get to use the leaf shield on him the first time we fought against him, so I want to show you what that looks like, although it still may be easier to beat him with the arm cannon. You just need to get pretty close, so I usually wait until he does the jumps to switch over to the leaf shield. After you defeat each boss, you'll get some health refilled, so that's why I'm saying you might want to take out the harder ones first. But this is an easy one. Here's Flashman. He just runs towards you just like you did last time. Take him out with the metal blades. And the metal blades are very effective against Metal Man. It only takes one to finish him off. Grab that health. I think I'll do Quick Man now. You can see what the full time stopper does. We can also use our air shooter to finish him off after the time stopper is worn off. The crash bombs are also good, but we had to use up so many of those on the previous boss that we don't have very many available. So yeah, the air shooter is a good option. Your arm cannon works just fine. Now I'm going to take out Crash Man. Make sure you don't waste all of your air shooters fighting Quick Man. You do need them for Crash Man. I think I'll go over here and hit Woodman next. We'll use the Atomic Fire plan. If you mess up with the Atomic Fire and shoot it off too early, or it hits the leaf shield, don't be afraid to pivot to the air shooter plan if you still have a little bit left after fighting Quick Man and Crash Man. Up here in the top is Heat Man. He seems to always get me here with that first attack. It's a little bit harder to avoid than it is in the room where you fight him initially, but same plan, hit him with the bubble leads. Only one is left, it's Bubble Man, so I'm going to put on my metal blades. He doesn't have the mines lining the ceiling this time, but it doesn't matter, I'm still going to use a similar pattern to defeat him. I just want to make sure I'm not standing right on top of the teleporter when he dies, so that I can still get that health refill. And here it is, the fight with Dr. Wily. Just use your metal blades and shoot upwards at an angle at the cockpit, and you will waste this guy's life super fast. He does have 2 life bars, just like the Dr. Wily at the end of the first game. So if you get low on health, don't be afraid to use one of your energy tanks. But that's not the true final boss of the game. Oh no, there's a second skull. Hold to the right as you fall down this shaft. You want to be able to make your way quickly to the right side of the screen when you get to the bottom. If you hold right and move fast, you'll get underneath all of these lava pods as they appear on the screen, and none of them will drip on you at all. So just quickly head over to the right, jump when you need to jump, and equip your bubble lead, because it's time to fight the final boss. Who knew all this time that Dr. Wily was really an alien? The only weapon that can damage this guy is the bubble lead, so you'll have to get pretty close to him to hit him with it. Fortunately, he flies in a very predictable figure 8 pattern, so whenever he dips down low, that's when you want to jump up and try to hit him with 2 bubble leads. He's going to come around again, and we'll hit him down at the bottom, and that's it. We've defeated Dr. Wily and beaten Mega Man 2. So it turns out that Dr. Wily wasn't really an alien after all. The whole thing was just an illusion. Well, we broke his little toy, and now Dr. Wily will be begging us for forgiveness. All we can do now is sit back, relax, and enjoy the cheesy ending. So I'm not exactly sure what this ending means. Mega Man walks through all these different seasons. I guess it's trying to say that he's walking for a very, very long time. But whatever it means, it does look cool. We have the rain, and then with the rain comes springtime. And then he's left the helmet behind. The fight is over. We've won. Well, I hope this video was able to help you defeat Dr. Wily and put an end to his crazy schemes. If it did, make sure to give it a like, and be sure to subscribe for more videos, because there will always be more evil geniuses for us to defeat, and that's why we'll be back again next week with another video game you can beat. Thanks for watching.